Good morning folks, how are we all doing? Welcome to M&P's in Cardiff, and today we're taking out the CF Moto 450 SR. Should be interesting. I'm not a sports bike rider. I've not ridden a full sports bike before, so it's going to be interesting, my aching body. Right, I've run through a few things with Stefan the salesman. We checked through the bike. This thing has got Bluetooth connectivity, you can connect your phone to it, all sorts, TFT dash. The only thing we couldn't find was rider modes, so I don't think it's got any. But it does look an interesting machine. Single-sided swing arm, single front disc, Brembo brakes, winglets, old Ducati styling, bits of carbon trim. It's a pretty looking machine. Here we go. Oh my god, I'm not built for sports bikes. Let's have a look at this dashboard. Side stand up. Now this I did notice because we were checking out earlier. It takes a while to fire up, but that's your dashboard, which is adjustable. All your information is adjustable as normal. Sounds alright. It sounds quite sweet. Now it's a 450 twin. Like I say, I've not ridden one before, so we shall see what we see. I mean, your normal switch gear, you've got all your starter, kill switch, everything there, hazards, horn, indicator. That's your function buttons for the dashboard. I'm not going to go through the dash because that'll take forever. High beam and pass light. Normal crappy horn. So let's have a look. Mirrors, God, they feel like they're miles away. I also feel like I'm hanging over the front. Yeah, helpful, mate. So let's have some fun, see what we get up to. I'll come back to you in a minute. Toodles! Folks, just to be absolutely clear, this is the CF Moto 450 SRS model. The S model, it appears, comes with a carbon trim, as you can see, and adjustable front suspension. The normal SR, the non-S model, doesn't have adjustable suspension. I'm not sure about the carbon bits, I haven't checked, but it's slightly cheaper. Okay, just to clarify everything. Right, on with the review. So I'm not used to a sports bike, and this is very much lent over the tank, as you'd expect. God, these mirrors are horrible for me. I do not like them mirrors at all. Morning. I'll do. Right, no quick shift or blipper. Clutch is extremely light. Brakes are nice and sharp. Throttle response, not bad at all. I'm looking, I don't think this is an adjustable screen. So for a sports bike it's not that bad. First impressions. I'm only going slow, mind. Now obviously I'm wearing an adventure helmet, so when we get to faster speeds, I don't know what the wind noises can be like or the wind turbulence, but account for the helmet please. I must admit it's relatively smooth as well. It's 450 twin. Front brake is lovely and sharp. Back brake is not bad at all. Just a small adjustment of that. No, we won't. What's it like for neutral? Easy. Adjuster seems a bit stiff. Oh, hang on, there we are. Dash is lovely and clear. I quite like that dashboard. Right, see if we can wind her up a bit. Handle's nice. Now we're up to motorway speeds. The wind noise on my helmet is quite high. Like I say, I'm wearing an adventure helmet, but the wind blast is negligible. I don't feel as though I'm being buffeted or anything. In fact, it's quite comfortable. The wind is on my chest. Our camera's going for a burden. Okay, we'll give up on that one. Sorry about that. Straight away up to motorway speed without any hesitation at all. In fact, when you're riding at motorway speeds, it's very comfortable. Quite impressed with that. Feels stable. Sixth gear roll on. Pretty nice. I am getting a little draft up my back though because of my short jacket, which you expect, so I am leant over. Engine braking's nice. Oh, it's got a nice little pop and bang from the exhaust. That's pretty. Right, let's see if we can adjust this. We're filming? Yeah. Right, having adjusted the levers a bit better to suit me and tightened up my camera. We're off ski. The pickup on this bike is really good. Suspension, as you'd expect, is quite stiff, but it is set up as a sports bike. Handling seems good. Not uncomfortable. Excuse me. Right, 30 mile an hour, third gear, apologies, 4,000 RPM. Smooth as silk. As I say, very much a sports bike, so you are leaning on the bars a lot, you're quite wristy as they say, which you'd expect. But not uncomfortable, not yet. But I've only been on it 5 minutes. Give it time. A really nice ride actually, it's very pleasant, very comfortable. If you're happy riding a sports bike position, I'm sure you could ride this for quite some time. I don't know if I could. I don't know if it'd be me. Between my dodgy back, dodgy elbow and dodgy shoulder, it's not the most comfortable. And I'm not what you call built for sports bikes. And of course I'm used to a Himalayan, the KTM 790 Adventure. Oh yeah, I'm quite enjoying this. I'm going to try and get some more interesting roads. Like, I don't want to take the mick, being out too long. But yeah, we'll try and get some more interesting roads. Try out the handling a bit. See how we get on. I'll get back to you in a mo. Toodles! Okay, we've had a bit of a play on some more open roads. At sort of motorway speeds, it's not too bad at all. Sticks to the road really well. It's not uncomfortable, even though the suspension feels quite stiff. It rolls over the bumps quite nicely. Obviously this thing's only got 40 odd brake horsepower. I was expecting a wee bit, so you've got to give it a few revs to get it to move. But once you're moving, it's not bad at all. It's not vibey or anything. At any speed or rev, I've got no real vibrations through the handlebars, no worse than you expect from any bike at all. Nothing really through the foot pegs or anywhere else on the bike. The mirrors I do not like. I'm having murder getting this near side mirror, left hand mirror set right. The right hand one's not much better. To be fair, the handling is lovely. The steering is precise and quick. Very accurate. The brakes are good. Now I know this is quite a bumpy road, as you can see by my camera bouncing around. Yet not a lot of that is being transmitted through to me. The bike is actually soaking up the bumps really well. Quite impressed with the suspension on this. I don't know who makes the suspension, but I'll be fair, it's pretty good. This would make a nice fun Sunday blast bike, or somebody stepping up it from a smaller machine. Maybe a learner. This is A2 compliant, by the way. Don't know how you get on with your A2 test on it, because it is a sports bike, so not the easiest to ride slow. But yeah, stepping up to your first bigger machine, I think you have a lot of fun on this. It's got enough power to enjoy yourself and not get bored, but it's not stupidly powerful where you're going to lose control and get yourself into trouble too quick as an inexperienced rider or a new rider. The more experienced rider, people like myself, been riding for 30-40 years, yeah, it'd be a great fun bike on the weekends. You can get yourself into trouble on it, but generally speaking you're not going to be too bad. You're going to keep close to the speed limits on this thing, but you're going to have fun doing it because you're going to be giving it the berries. You're really going to use the full potential of the engine, and I think that's the way to go these days. Like, you know, these 200 brake horsepower machines, as myself and Stefan, the salesman, were chatting about earlier, they're fantastic machines, but unless you're, you know, a really good rider, you've got to be experienced, capable of riding these high powered bikes. You're never going to use it properly. Never. You might get 1 or 2 days on a track day where you can open her up, but that's about it. I think the future is these sort of things. 400 to 800cc, especially the parallel twins. Enough power to be fun, but not stupidly powerful that you're going to get into silly problems and trouble. Town manners on this thing. Town manners are fine, but it's so uncomfortable because it's a sports bike. What did you expect? Let's be honest. And this was probably not the best plan to come this way, but the roads further up are lovely and I wanted to play on them. When I was sat on it, I'm on the balls of my feet. I'm just about flat-footed either side, and I've got a 30-inch inside leg. Comfort-wise, it's not too bad at all. As I've said, it's just the riding position is very sporty, and I'm not a sports bike rider. We shall see. Yeah, you can cope with this around town on your daily commute. It's not bad at all. I say my only issue is comfort, but that's me. I'm not saying it's an uncomfortable bike, it's just uncomfortable for me. Right, again, I'm going to shut you off for a bit because we're stuck in traffic till I get to the nicer roads. I'll come back to you when things improve. Toodles! Now see, with all these speed restrictions everywhere in the country these days, you know, 60s drop down to 40s and 30s and 20s and God knows what, you're not going to be able to use a big power bike. Something like this makes sense. It's a good fun bike. Normally my test rides, I do a few miles away from the shop. I go out through Penarth Town Centre just to get a feel for the town riding. I head down to my favourite spot, which is Cosmeston Lakes, where I do a walk around. Then I use the Barry bypass to head home and the dual carriageway to get some speed up. Now obviously this bike being more of a sports bike than a street bike, if you like, for want of a better phrase, I didn't want to do my normal route. I wanted bigger, faster, more open roads, which is exactly what I'm doing. Unfortunately I've hit traffic and roadworks and Christ only knows what else. This is very fast steering bike. Very little input from me. She changes direction brilliantly. Although this road is really lumpy, as you can tell by the way the bike's bouncing around, it's handling the roads brilliantly. The suspension is just rolling over the bumps like they're not there. I am well impressed with the suspension on this. Now obviously it's not been set up for me or anything. I'm around 15 stone, so probably a little bit heavier than it was set up for. But it's taking my weight and the roads extremely well. Here we are, the CF Moto 450 SR. It's a 449cc motorbike. You just check my notes. I did print this off the internet yesterday. Bear with me. It's 46 brake horsepower. So U2? A2 compliant. We'll get it right in a minute. It's twin cylinder, 8 valve, liquid cooled parallel twin. Chromoly steel tube framing, 14 litre fuel tank. Really nice looking machine. Seat height is 795mm and the whole thing only weighs 179 kilos, so it's really light and easy to move around. Lovely when you're riding it. Right, on your front, excuse me, you've got those rather nice upside down forks, 37mm. Now, according to technical specs off the internet, they're non-adjustable. They are adjustable. Well, this particular model is, so maybe it's an upgraded model. So you've got these fancy little wings on there as well, and carbon fibre bits all over the place. On the front brake, you have a single caliper, Brembo caliper. It's an M40 caliper, 4-piston radially mounted caliper on a 320mm floating disc. Just the one, and it works extremely well. You don't need any more brake than that, to be perfectly honest. Working our way back, you've got the under chassis exhaust, which looks rather pretty, single-sided swing arm, very Ducati-esque, which I like. Back end don't look bad at all, does it? I haven't really looked at it much on the back end, but it looks quite nice. And your rear brake is a 220mm disc, single caliper, which you'd expect on most bikes. This particular one, as you can see, is fitted with a Optimate battery charger unit. Right, there is no quick shifter blipper on this bike. It's just a normal gearbox, normal manual clutch and gearbox. I'd like to see a quick shifter on there, but you know, for the price you can't go far wrong. I will find out the price from Stefan the salesman when I go back to the shop, because I forgot this morning, and I'll put it up on the screen now. Okay, right, the seat, lovely and comfy, nice and big, very, very easy to sit on. Even for my fat backside, and move my gloves out of the way. Pillion seat, yeah, not recommended, quite frankly. I personally would rather put a hump on that. Oh look, very Ducati-esque with the vents in there. I think I'd remove the rear foot pegs and put a seat cover on, personally. Right, looking at the front end, we have, there's all your switchgear and multi adjustable switchgear for the dash. I think we did this outside the shop, didn't we? We did, so I won't go through it all. TFT dash, very nice, fully adjustable levers, front brake and clutch. Mirrors, I say, I'm not a fan. They seem very far away and they're an absolute pain to adjust when you're trying to adjust them. But there we go, it is what it is. So what have we got? Right, tyre sizes. We've got a 110/70/17 front tyre. I haven't actually looked to see what makes they are. Very sporty looking, I'll be fair to them. In fact, I can't actually see what they are because it's covered by a shadow. Typical. Not sure on the rear either. The rear, if I can find my notes, is a 150/60/17. So not bad sizes, easy to obtain, not difficult. Yeah, it's a really nice bike, rides really well. So I've got a 30-inch inside leg and I can pretty much flat foot it. And of course, along with the fact that once the suspension is settled in after a while, the bike will lower itself a tiny bit. So you should be alright with around a 30-inch inside leg. Maximum torque on this bike, which I did miss earlier, is 39 Newton meters. And a claimed top end of 118 miles an hour. Like I said, you're riding within the sensible levels. It's not stupidly fast or anything. You're not going to get yourself into too much trouble. Oh, by the way, the rear suspension, monoshock as normal, preload adjustment on it. So that's easy to play around with. You get this set up to your weight by a suspension specialist. Somebody who actually knows what they're doing. I reckon you'd have a pretty tasty handling machine. These appear to be some sort of crash bungs, I'm guessing, on the frame. Or frame sliders. Really nice. Lots of carbon little trim on this one. This, I'm guessing, is the SRS model. Lots of carbon bits. A pretty front end. You look at that, you think it's a 600 or something. Yeah, very nice bike. Nice to ride, comfortable. Goes well for its size. You know, it's not super powerful. Put a tail tidy on it. Seat cover, remove the rear foot pegs. Don't know if I'd even bother with changing exhaust, to be honest, because you'd probably find you have to change the whole system. I'm guessing. Because it's underslung, I'll probably just leave it alone. It sounds alright, actually. Actually, I tell you what, let's fire up and see what she sounds like. As I say, not overly impressed by this dashboard. It takes far too long to fire up. There we are, now we're awake. Oh, we're in gear. Typical. Very professional grumps. Hang on, let me get out into neutral, which is not difficult. Now we're up and running. That don't sound bad at all. Although in fact I want a GoPro camera. Sounds right, doesn't it? I quite like that. Yeah, nice bike. If you're looking for a sports bike, low capacity, low performance, low powered sports bike, A2 compliant, this would be just right for you. Right, I'll be back to the shop before they think I've run off with it or crashed it or something stupid. Which I'm sure won't go down well. Oh, I just noticed integrated indicators into the mirrors. Well, I say I'm not a fan of those mirrors at all, but that's me, that's my personal taste. The bike itself I got no real complaints over, none whatsoever. Right, I'm off ski. Let's go head back to the shop and hand them back their bike. Toodles! Soslo, one of the best bends to test out the handling, and I'm behind the car. Unfortunately I couldn't get the overtake in beforehand, just solid white lines all the way. Go on, don't hold me up. We're going to go round again. I may not look so I'm leaning over very far, it's because I'm not. I don't need to. Steering is extremely quick on this bike, so there's no necessity to hang off the bike and stick your knee in the deck. Fourth gear, 40 mile an hour. And overtake's okay. Right, quick apology folks, this may be a bit of a long video. I wanted to test out the handling and capabilities of this bike. Traffic and road conditions haven't helped. A lot of people driving way under the speed limit, which drives me insane when there's absolutely no need. Oh, they cleared the gravel up. No, they haven't. I knew there was gravel on that corner. So yeah, it's maybe a bit longer than I planned. The brakes on this thing are absolutely superb. Barely touching the lever and she's pulling up lovely. In fact, that single caliper is working better than most twin caliper systems I've used. Twin discs. I say, it changes direction so easily, this bike. Pulls really well. I mean, I'm in fourth gear. Haven't changed out of fourth gear. I don't need to. I am well impressed. For a little 450 twin, I'm well impressed. Okay, so you may have twigged from the... Just checking, yeah, we're still recording. You may have sussed this out from my review. I quite like this bike. It's a really nice, low capacity, reasonably powered sports bike. It's comfortable, it handles well. The suspension, I think, is absolutely superb. And it's not been set up for my weight or anything. The brakes are really good. Well, the front brake especially is fantastic. Almost over braked. But then, as soon as you get used to it, it's not too bad. Back brake is typical back brake, it'll slow you down. Ride position, very sporty, which is one thing I do struggle with because of my size and shape. Very wristy. Although I have spent a lot of time travelling slower than I should be and having to brake a lot because of people literally hitting the brakes on bends when they shouldn't be. Well, usual chaos of people who can't drive. The mirrors, very clear when you can figure out how to set them in the right position. That's the issue. As I said before, they're so far away, by the time you adjust them and then sit back to riding position, they're completely wrong. But once they're set up right, I'm sure they'll be fine. The little screen works rather well actually. I got very little wind buffering whatsoever, even at sort of motorway speeds. Where was I? Yeah, the screen works quite well actually. Even at sort of motorway speeds, the wind is just blowing on my chest. It's not uncomfortable, it's not turbulent, it's quite comfortable, quite pleasant, you know. Which I wouldn't have thought would happen with a screen that low down. I thought I'd be absolutely battered by the wind. But no, it wasn't too bad. The clutch is superbly light. Foot pegs are in quite a nice position. They're sporty, like they're back and quite high. Don't know if you can see it on camera. My heels are basically in line with the back of my backside. The seat is very large and comfortable. I mean, there's loads of room to manoeuvre around even with my fat backside. As I said earlier, pillion seat, pretty much pointless. Unless someone's brave. I would just ditch it, put a cover on and remove the rear foot pegs personally, but that's just me. Switchgear is nice and simple, very intuitive. The dash is absolutely fantastic. Like I say, there's loads to cycle through, Bluetooth connection and everything you can do on it. All sorts you can adjust. I'm not going to go through it all, it'll take too long. What a very, very nice dash. You know, almost you know, premium bike level type of display. I really like it. I think it looks great. I don't think I would change anything on that, not even the colouring. The colouring works. The looks of the bike, it looks very Ducati-esque. The only thing I would be a bit cautious of is the rear wheel. Because it's a single-sided swing arm, often that big nut that holds the wheel in place is extremely tight. I have heard comments from tyre fitters with their Ducatis where they've actually taken the bike to lorry fitters to put their monstrous size air guns on to undo the wheel nut. Don't know what it is on this one, I haven't checked, but be aware of that. Yeah, fantastic bike for what it is. A small sports bike. Really nice. And I'm not a sports bike rider. The big question, would I own this bike? Possibly. I'll say possibly. If I was in the market for a bike of this ilk, you know, a small capacity sports bike, then yes I would. I can't compare it to anything else, so I've not ridden anything else in this category. Yeah, if I was looking for a sports bike, yes, I would own one. I'm not. I have no interest in owning a sports bike, to be honest. They're not my cup of tea. I prefer a calf racer. Yeah, I like it. I would recommend it. Now, obviously, I would suggest you go to M&P's in Cardiff, who are the CF Moto main dealer in the area. Book a test ride, take it out, test ride it for yourself. Always remember, everything in my review is my views and opinions on what I think of the bike, on what is effectively a test ride. Exactly the same as you would get. You know, I don't get to keep the bike for a couple of days or anything. I review the bikes on what is effectively a half-hour, hour-long test ride or whatever. No different to what you would do. So I strongly recommend, if you're interested in this bike, get down to M&P Cardiff, speak to the salesman down there, Stefan. As you go through the door, he's directly in front of you, nice guy. Book yourself a test ride, see what you think. Now, I have to say a massive thank you to M&P's Cardiff for allowing me to take the bikes out to review them, as always. It's very kind of them. I get to review any of the demo bikes that are available, when they're available. And obviously it's free advertising for the shop and content for my channel, so it's a win-win all round. So yeah, thank you M&Ps, really do appreciate it. The sales staff down there are fantastic. And don't forget, behind the showrooms you also have outfitters where you can get your clothing and stuff. So it's a one-shop stop. You go down there, buy yourself a bike and get your gear to ride it. Can't be bad, eh? I will state, for the sake of full disclosure, Mrs. Grumps is employed by M&P's the company, although she has no bearing or influence on what I say or do as far as these test rides are concerned. Obviously it's because she works there they allow me to do the test rides, but the agreement between myself and M&P's is I say what I think of the bike when I review it. My thoughts and opinions, whether I like it or not, I will say the truth. I'm not going to say a bike is absolutely fantastic or I think it's an absolute bag of pants. Just because the missus works there does not change my opinion. So there we go, folks, that is the review, or my review, test ride review of the CF Moto 450 SR. I believe this is the S model, which I'm guessing is the posh one. Hope you all enjoyed that. Sorry it went on a bit longer than normal. And of course, folks, whatever you're doing, please be safe, ride safe and have fun. And of course the statue, where Mrs. Grumps will not be happy. Toodles! Right, let's go back to the shop and have Stefan shout at me for being out so long. Sorry, Stefan.